Okay, let's get into example number one. The title of the dream is These Dreams About My Ex Are Screwing With Me Hard. That's the title that the person gave to the dream. Here's the situation. She has a new boyfriend and keeps dreaming about her ex. Her ex is her first love. He dumped her and it tore her up. Now, that gives us some material to work with. It gives us some context, but we need to get a little further into this. I'll describe a specific thing about one of the dreams in just a moment. First of all, if you went through an experience like this where you fall in love, you open yourself up to a person and then they dump you and it tears you up inside, it's natural to be leery of repeating the same mistake. If that is still a wound in you and then you get involved in a new relationship, it is natural for that possibility to be in the back of your mind. Hey, am I going to get dumped again? Maybe I shouldn't get too close with the person. So the dreams could show fear that she'll fall in love with the new guy and he'll dump her. However, the person who had the dream described this. She says that she's recently been comparing her new boyfriend with her ex and imagining what life would be like if she stayed together with him. Okay, so this has been going on in her mind, in her thoughts, and so this describes perhaps one of the dreams that she had. She said that her ex shows up in the dream and he's in fancy dress, like a tuxedo, and gets down on his knees and he proposes to her. It sends her head spinning and she reacts in the dream by repeating, "Oh my God, oh my God." And she is overcome with emotion. Okay, so imagine you have a dream like that. Here's one reaction people might have is, my ex is really going to come back into my life. My ex wants to marry me. So you start thinking perhaps, well, maybe I shouldn't be involved with this new person. I need to keep my life clear so that the dream can come true for me. Well, sorry, but that is probably not what the dream is really saying. The ex in the dream could symbolize her new relationship. And it's a way of testing her because now she has her ex in front of her, but it actually symbolizes the new relationship. She's dreaming. Her ex proposes to her. It's a way of saying, will you commit to this? And here's another way of thinking of it is, do you like me as much as you like or love your ex? Now, let me explain how I reached to that conclusion. I gave the background information about her recent thoughts because she shared them without prompting, and that the sorts of spontaneous thoughts related to a dream often lead to the meaning. Another reason why is because I think that the information she provided strikes directly at the heart of this dream. She has been comparing her new boyfriend with her ex. Now, a little thought exercise. Substitute her ex in the dream for her new boyfriend. She has a new boyfriend, she has an ex. She sees the ex in the dream, and let's assume that the ex is a substitute or a surrogate character to represent her new boyfriend. Now look at the scenario the dream creates with that possibility in mind. So it's not her ex that proposes to her, it's her new boyfriend that proposes to her. How does she react? If she reacts the same way, where she is overcome with emotion, it can be a way of saying that she feels the same way about her new boyfriend. It's not to say that that's definitely the case, but it's a possibility. I find that many dreams create scenarios because what they're really doing is helping you to see something about yourself through how you react. She fell in love with this guy, her ex. It was her first love. It was a very, very powerful experience. And now she's involved in a new relationship, and it is probably bringing up many things from the past. We've explored one possibility is perhaps she doesn't want to make the same mistakes, but another possibility is that she's going through the same emotional process again. And subconsciously, when her ex proposes to her in the dream, she knows what he really symbolizes. See my lesson called 3 Simple Facts About Dreams. Fact number 1 is you subconsciously know everything in the dream. You react based on that subconscious knowledge. So when she sees her ex and he proposes to her and she reacts by being overcome with emotion, she knows subconsciously what it all really means. And she's reacting based on that subconscious knowledge. So I really think that the ex in the dream symbolizes her new boyfriend, and she can test my theory by imagining the scenario created by the dream, imagining that instead of the ex, it's her new boyfriend who proposes to her, and does she react the same way? That can get her right to the meaning of the dream, because if she does not react the same way, then it means that we are on the wrong track. And if she does react the same way, then we can be pretty sure that the ex actually symbolizes her new boyfriend. An ex in a dream can symbolize the time of life that you shared together. I find that when you dream about a first love, that what you're actually doing is missing something about that time of life, probably about yourself in that time of life, but also about the relationship. It can mean that you miss the simplicity and innocence. The first time that you fall in love, it can be an experience that is just pure and simple. It's innocent. It is love. And then after you've been through that cycle a few times, the next time that you fall in love, you have a broader base of experience to work from, and it's not so simple or innocent anymore. In fact, later in life, relationships can be weighed down and complicated. I have found in the dreams of people who've been involved in relationships for a long time, and, it's like, oh, we've been married for 10 years, we've got kids, we're in this very standard routine of go to work, come home, take care of the kids, and they'll dream about their first love because there's something that they miss about that, the simplicity of that kind of relationship. Now, whether it is the first love or your last love, the person as a character in your dreams can symbolize that time of life. Dreams usually don't reminisce. Instead, they point toward the past as a way of illustrating something about the present. For example, it can point toward the past to show where beliefs took root, or patterns started, or emotions originated, or wishes took shape. It happened in the past, but it's still relevant to the present, so the dream refers to the past. The wish that takes, let's start with that idea. Perhaps the ex in your dream symbolizes something related to that relationship because it is where you first got the notion of, hey, I could get married and have this happy life with someone. It doesn't happen with that person, obviously, they're your ex. But now you're in the present, and the dream wants to refer to where that wish took shape. The idea formed in your mind that you could have the kind of marriage that would make you really happy. So you have the reason why the X is in the dream, because they're referring to the past and where that idea or that wish took shape. So I want to give you an imperfect example. Years after the fact, a woman dreams about an unrequited love. Why? Well, okay, I ask her with this lesson in mind. I ask her, is there anything from the past that's come up recently in your life? And her answer was, no, not really. Okay, what is it about this unrequited love? Why is this person coming up in your life now, or in your dream life now? The person has not been part of your life in years. So, we can look through possibilities that are related to how dream characters are used as symbolism and in the story. But here was the very clever answer to that dream. She says that they met on Tinder. For those of you who don't know, Tinder is an application you put on your phone, and it's a dating app. So after things ended with her unrequited love, she uninstalled Tinder from her phone. Well, recently she had reinstalled it. So she dreams about her unrequited love because something from the past is now relevant to the present. She reinstalled Tinder on her phone, and the last time that she used Tinder was when she met her unrequited love. I want to give another quick example here of how the past can refer to the present, and the X in your dream can symbolize that time of life. There was a woman that came to Reddit and said that she's been dreaming about her ex, and we explored many possibilities for what the dream could symbolize, and we landed on the exploration of the time of life that she shared with her ex. And what she remembered most about it was a time of deep depression for her. And I asked her, are you feeling depressed again now? And with that question, we were able to see that while the depression hadn't come back on full force, she was starting to feel it again. So the dreams are really showing her what is emerging, that this depression is emerging in her again. And they're trying to say, hey, you're starting to feel this way again, like you did when you were with your ex. Now she can use that information if she wants to help to address the depression before it gets into the full-blown cycle like it was before. If your experience with an ex was a wounding experience and you start dreaming about the person again and it brings up those old pains, it can seem cruel to do that to you, but the dreams are actually helping you to heal. Dreams are known for healing old wounds, and they go there when you are ready. You might not know it consciously, but subconsciously you know that you are ready. And there is another possibility, which is the dream is saying you need to make yourself ready, because as long as you're still wounded from this experience, it is going to be baggage that's holding you back from, living your life fully. So of course, dreams are going to go there. They're going to help you to heal. It is one of the primary reasons why we dream. So I want to get into an example. I've used this example in other lessons, so I'm going to be fairly brief here in describing the dream. A woman dreams she's driving a long way back home to her family home and she gets lost. She pulls over on the side of the road and she checks the map on her phone. A random man reaches into her car, grabs some items, and runs away. She tracks him down. He apologizes. He gives her stuff back. Now she's back in the car. The man reaches in again, and this time he snatches her phone and runs away. She reacts this time by grabbing a knife, throwing it at him. It hits him in the back, and he falls to the ground. She then grabs the knife out of his back, rolls him over, looks at him in the eyes with pure hatred, and stabs him in the heart. It's a very powerful reaction, and that's going to be part of what leads us to the meaning of this dream. It is a very, very powerful dream, but let's analyze it and find out what it really means. The opening scene, this is where the subject of a dream is often found. In the opening, she's trying to find her way back home and she gets lost and she's looking for directions. What this means is that she is finding her way back to what home represents to her, and she's lost. The man who steals her stuff could symbolize something important that's been taken from her, either by a person or through something that she did. This is where dream analysis and character analysis can get really, you got to start splitting some hairs. It can get really tricky because what you see in the form of the dream character is actually, for example, a tendency or habit that you have. Like if you are lost personally and now it shows you as being lost with another person. And what that person symbolizes is the thing about yourself that makes you feel lost. It can even symbolize just the feeling of being lost. In this case, though, there's more to this random man who appears in her dream. I'll get to that in just a second. Well, one, she gets her stuff back from the man after he steals it. So, that's a good sign. It can mean that she's recovering something about herself that she lost. The items or objects actually represent things that are intangible, such as recovering your sense of self-esteem, recovering your confidence, something along those lines. But here's the thing, that detail points toward the man, the what the man represents in the dream, the person that the man represents. It represents her ex, but she can't see it directly in the dream because if she sees her ex, the pure hatred she has for this person will make the dream veer off course. So the dream uses this surrogate character. It just inserts in a random man who does look vaguely like her ex. The part that really gives it away is the fact that she recovers her stuff from him and he apologizes to her in the dream like, oh, sorry for stealing your stuff. That was exactly the kind of thing that her ex would do. He would do something really crappy and then he would apologize for it later and she would forgive him. She's using the phone in the dream to get directions home. So we could look at that as meaning that him taking the phone from her means taking her sense of personal direction. She's using the phone to get directions. Taking the phone means taking your sense of personal direction. Now we need to know who or what the man represents. I already kind of gave that away. The big reveal here, the man is a surrogate character for her ex. Her ex lured her into a life of using hard drugs. He took her away from her family and friends, and he diverted her away from the path in life that she was on. So now she's trying to find her way back home, right? She's trying to find her way back to this time of life she had before she met her ex. She's lost that sense of personal direction because of that experience. So, of course, the dream shows it as the man who actually represents her ex, taking away her phone. I just went over this. Taking her stuff and apologizing afterwards sums up years of his behavior. We know subconsciously everything that happens in our dreams. So when she reacts by stabbing the man in the heart and doing it with malice, it's a big giveaway. It says that she feels really strongly about what the man symbolizes. So when we see her roll the man over and look him in the eyes and stab him in the heart, well, that reaction makes sense now. Plus, stabbing him in the heart points right to where she is really hurt. She is hurt in her heart. So she's healing an old wound. This dream is showing her that she still is very hurt by this experience with him. She has work to do, but it can, she can do this. The dream is telling her she can do this, but she needs to forgive herself for being taken along by her ex. It takes two to tango. Even though he was, let's just say he was a real manipulative bastard. You know, she allowed herself to be taken along with him. She made decisions along the way. She was not a slave in this situation. So there's probably a lot of reckoning that she needs to do with herself, but she's on her way. That's the really encouraging thing about this dream. She's on her way back home and what home represents to her. Dreams help you to learn from your mistakes. And that last example is a great example of that. Now, we're going to get into another one. In the next example, a woman is trying to learn something. Remember that. That is at the heart of the dream. Here, actually, they're recurring dreams. And here's how they play out. She's living with her ex and his new girlfriend. It's all good, you know? Then she remembers, hey, wait a minute, you broke up with me and you started dating her. That's when things get heated. Here's how she, in her own words, she says, this is while she's dreaming. And I eventually start screaming at him, usually yelling, what is wrong with you? Which just that alone is extremely unlike me. I'm a very calm person. Even when we broke up, there wasn't really any drama, and I haven't spoken to him since the day I left. So now we have some interesting material to work with here. She needs to understand this dream, to begin understanding the dream by reversing the question she asks him. She says, what is wrong with you? But what she really is asking is, what's wrong with me? She wants to know what's wrong with her that would make him dump her and start dating someone new. The question behind the dream is, am I not good enough? I have found this in many dreams about your ex. There is some kind of insecurity or comparison. There is something that is unresolved in this that's along these lines. She does not have the information to be able to answer this question for herself. She was not able to sit down with her ex and say, what was it about her, the new girl, that you see that you don't see in me? What are you getting from the new relationship that you didn't get from our relationship? She doesn't have the information that she needs. So you can imagine that she's been going over this in her mind. What's wrong with me? There is a clue in what she shares about herself. She even says it in the dream. She is the no drama type. And from my experience knowing this type of person, I mean, imagine you've just broken up with someone that you loved and you're just like, easy come, easy go. I'll see you later, and then you never have any more contact with the person. No drama in this case. What I think it means is that she represses her emotions. She represses her responses. And then at some point, it comes up again later, but even more strongly. There's extra charge in the emotions because they were repressed to begin with. And so now they come back with a full force. They come back with a vengeance. Okay, interesting example there. Bottom line being, there's always something that you can learn from your dreams, and your dreams about your ex, they're often trying to teach you something. Now I want to get into a dream that was even more. This dream is trying to show the dreamer something really important. It is the dream that the filmmaker Amy Hardy had, and she turned it into a film called The Edge of Dreaming. Let me get into this. She dreams that her ex, her deceased ex, comes to her and says, sorry to have to tell you this, but you're gonna die. He didn't say it that way. But just imagine, this is your dream, and your ex comes up to you and says, I'm really sorry to have to tell you this, but you're going to die. And he gave her the age when she was going to die. And not long later, not long afterwards, she turned that age. And soon after she turned that age, she got sick mysteriously and suddenly. Now, Amy has a degree in logic, and she looked for a rational explanation or explanations for the dream, but she did not find them. She had had a dream before this one that we're describing where she found one of her horses dead. And she got up from the dream. She went to check on her horse, and her horse had died. And it wasn't like she was expecting it. This was a healthy horse that she took great care of, and it just suddenly died. And it happened as she had the dream about her horse dying. So she knew that there are dreams that can be precognitive, which means it gives a glimpse of the future. And she debated within herself and decided that, yes, I can believe that some dreams can come true. So now it's months later, and she has this dream where her ex comes to her and gives her this message. So she now has to decide, is this just some kind of symbolic dream, or is it precognitive? Well, she wasn't sure about it, but then she turned the same age that her ex told her was going to be the age when she dies, and she suddenly gets very sick. I want you to know something about her ex. They had a wonderful and a deep relationship. There were no hard feelings between them. Even though they weren't together as a couple, it was an amicable separation. So we need to know this. It's her ex comes to her in the dream, and the dream chooses her ex for a reason. She's trying to figure out whether or not this is the spirit of her ex or it's something else. Her ex died of lung disease, and when Amy got ill, it was something that was affecting her lungs. She said that she lost 60% of her lung function. You lose much more than that, and you're a goner. So Amy went on a personal journey to find the true source of her illness, and she ended up surviving it. You can watch her film The Edge of Dreaming. You can look her up online, and you can find out for yourself if you want to know more about that journey and how she was able to find the healing that she needed. I spoke with her about her dream, about her film, about her experience. And in her opinion, her ex in the dream is real. It is the spirit of her ex that came to her. But the reasons for his message, it showed her a possibility. In the dream, he delivers the message very shockingly. Hey, you're going to die. I'm sorry to have to tell you this. But it was not a prophecy. It basically, Amy was being told that she was going to have to fight for her life, and that perhaps the old her was something about her was going to have to die. Remember, this is a person who had based all of her life on, reductionism and logic. And here she's being shown that there is more to life than what she had known. So the old beliefs about everything, life being solely, explained solely through the workings of matter and Newton, wasn't true. But here's another possibility. I have found this through my experience with visitation dreams, is that the person that you see in the dream is the best vehicle for delivering the message. In her case, her ex in the dream might not be the spirit of her ex. It might simply be that her body recognized that there was something developing in her lungs. The symptoms had not shown up yet, but her body had a good idea of when the illness that was developing was going to come forward and be noticeable, that the symptoms were really going to manifest, and that the dream chose her ex to deliver the message because he had died of lung disease. It's a possibility. I think there's too many other coincidences and factors at play here, and I really want to defer to Amy's interpretation of the dream as what I think is true about it. But I find that it's always good to explore possibilities, other possibilities, especially in dreams as powerful as this one.